Hey traders, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap. Today is Tuesday, December 29th, and in today's video we're going to discuss Ripple and XRP blasting about over 40% today. So we'll talk about why that happened and a lot of people thinking it was going to go to zero. So we'll touch on that and we'll look at some news and events for the day, and we'll look at the broader market, the crypto market, the cannabis space, and we'll take a little bit of a look into the chart for SPY as well, so the S&P 500. So with that, I hope everyone had a great holiday weekend, and obviously we still have a short week this week. So I know a lot of people are probably still checked out, and if you are tuning in, there's probably only a fraction of the percent of people trading. So hopefully you're enjoying time with family and everybody had a great holiday. So we'll go through some news and events before we take a look into some charting, including the Ripple chart. So first on the list, we have the House passing a bill for 2,000 stimulus checks, leaving it up to the Senate. But Mitch McConnell blocks Schumer's bid to unanimously pass the 2,000 stimulus check. So it looks like that will be postponed, and we'll continue to monitor any developments on that front. The US could also be missing the new strain because of the holes in our net are too wide, experts say. So there's been strains popping up. So the new UK strain has been popping up across Canada. I know they found the first case in Quebec and a few other provinces. So we'll continue to monitor that situation as well, as it could impact the markets. And we also saw that Boeing 737 MAX was set to return to US skies after a series of crashes and terrible history that it had. So obviously a positive for the Boeing stock. US home price growth accelerates at a pace not seen in more than 6 years. So still no signs of slowing down. There is some supply issues in the mix, so we'll see if that has any weighting on the market going forward. We also saw that XRP recovers. It says 15% here, but it was over 40% at one point. I think it was close to 45% from the low of the day, after Ripple released a statement, essentially a very upbeat statement, saying that they're ready to work with SEC and their new leadership. And if we go over to Ripple's website here, you can see that this statement was from today. So this is what they're referring to. So our statement, and this is why it was up, in my opinion, as we had so many people flipped on one side of the fence. So everybody was going short. Everybody is expecting it to just completely go to zero. And as we know, that just is not the case. It's still trading on Binance and a few other exchanges as well, on Coinbase. And just keep in mind that Coinbase is going to be delisting it on the 19th. So that gives us essentially 3 weeks. But sorry, they're not delisting, they're suspending trading. So like most other crypto exchanges, most of them are just suspending trading. So you can't deposit or you can't trade in XRP. You can still hold it on the exchange, or you can withdraw it and put it on a nano ledger or an offline wallet, whatever you have. So we have 3 weeks until that date. A lot could happen. So if they go into, court and the case gets dropped, or there's a settlement, obviously a lot could change in 3 weeks. Maybe we don't even see a halt on trading. But personally, I think there's it's very, very fishy what's going on here. And Raoul Pal, one of the ex-Goldman Sachs execs and very, very heavily involved in the crypto space, is starting to look into this Ripple matter as well, and potentially sees upside of about 50x if we touch down to about 10 cents. So he said he was interested. I'm interested. I'm building a position. I tweeted it, or I actually said it in the community earlier today. So I said cryptocurrencies, building a small XRP position here. We're getting extreme, small, no touch YOLO position, less than about 0.5% of my entire net worth. Filled 2 out of 5 orders. We'll add a bit more at 16 cents, 15 cents, and 12 cents. And obviously, if we got to 10 cents, I would definitely add there as a no-touch position. But personally, I don't think any of these allegations make sense for the SEC to just release it right before Jay Clayton's resignation, or the day before he left the SEC. And they've been working with Ripple for 8 years now. So just nothing about this makes sense. It's extremely fishy. So we'll go through the statement here from Ripple. So the public and press have only heard the story from the SEC side, and we'll be filing our response in a few weeks to address these unproven allegations against Ripple. And this says a few weeks. So keep in mind that we have 3 weeks until the Coinbase halt trading. So we'll see if they come out with their response prior to that. The SEC's decision to file this action is not just about Ripple, it is an attack on the entire crypto industry here in the US. We've always said that there's a dangerous lack of regulatory clarity in the US for crypto. Their lawsuit has already affected countless innocent XRP retail holders with no connection to Ripple. It has also needlessly muddied the waters for exchanges, market makers, and traders. The SEC has introduced more uncertainty into the market, actively harming the community they are supposed to protect. It's no surprise that some market participants are reacting conservatively as a result. In the meantime, Ripple will continue to operate and support all products as customers in the US and globally. The majority of the customers aren't in the US, and overall XRP volume is largely traded outside of the US. There are clear rules of the road using XRP in the UK, Japan, Switzerland, and Singapore. For example, for 8 years, we've built products to help hundreds of customers solve pain points around global payments. We will defend our company and look forward to settling this matter in court finally and getting clarity for the US crypto industry. On a parallel note, we look forward to working with all of the commissioners and the SEC's new leadership once appointed. In all, the SEC chair, 6 of his directors from each SEC division, the SEC's chief economist and SEC's general counsel have now departed. Many left just last week. Our steadfast commitment and to constructive regulatory engagement has not changed. So a lot of people took that as a very positive, upbeat statement. And again, we should see some updates on this in the next few weeks. And also saw an article here from News BTC. Analyst who called Coinbase XRP delisting says SEC is investigating other altcoins. So be on the lookout for potential action and more lawsuits and cases from the SEC, which could obviously impact the crypto market as a whole and provide some downward momentum. And if we take a look at the charts here right now, you can see BTC is back above 27,000. So when we were looking at the consolidation here on XRP, I said in the community, I said that Ripple wasn't set up very well for any consolidation in Bitcoin or the overall crypto market. So we're just scouting a 15-minute higher low right now on Ripple. This could be a potential 15-minute bear flag, but essentially we're just looking for a 15-minute higher low. We didn't have any higher low established, so it wasn't surprising that, you know, we run 40% and then we drop about 17% so far, over 17% and counting. So not surprising when we don't establish any supports. And like I said, if Bitcoin or the entire crypto market were to start consolidating again on the 15-minute or in a meaningful way, then XRP is not set up well here at all. But nice support, nice bounce off support at 17 cents. I made an entry today I made a couple entries today. I think one at 19, one at 17. Had about a month maker there on that bounce. I didn't catch all of the bounce. I had about an average of about 18 and a half. So we'll just say 18 and a half, and I sold around 22. So I made about 25% or so on that bounce, and I did exit. I was going to do a small no touch position, but that was just a gift that was unexpected. And I didn't expect us to jump 20, 40% in a matter of minutes. And I trimmed that position and I reloaded here again at 20 cents. And I'll look to re-add again here, basically going back to my same plan. So if we go back to 17, I'll add again. And if we go back, and these will be no touch positions, as long as we don't bust up 40% without establishing any supports. So back in that position, basically just took the profits, re-entered here at about 20 cents. And again, I will re-enter here on a test of, I'll probably enter again at 19, another one at 17, another one at 15, and all the way down to about 10 cents. I can't see this going below 10 cents, but if it does, again, I'll just be putting this away on my ledger and it'll be a no touch position. I really highly doubt that XRP is going to go to zero in wake of all this. I mean, the SEC, you know, Elon Musk with Tesla and SpaceX has been investigated by the SEC, paid a fine, Amazon. So this isn't the first company to be under scrutiny from the SEC. The SEC also did this with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they beat that case. So we'll continue to monitor, but right now we have an hourly inside bar right now on XRP. So we'll be watching how that breaks into the end of the day here. On the daily candle, we've got about 2 hours and 50 minutes left, but you can see we lost to support at 21, and that's when we saw a flush, but just basically essentially stopped out any longs, so they went stop loss hunting. We'll see if we resume to any lower lows, but at this point could be a daily bear flag, and we did see that confirming today, and a measured move would bring us down here to, if this were to confirm, down around the 3 or 4 cent mark. So again, if we drop below 10 cents, I'm going to definitely be adding for a no-touch position. And if this does just pass as a slap on the wrist, so to speak, it's really not going to have a huge impact. We saw that SBI, which is a company out of Japan, said that Ripple or XRP is a cryptocurrency by Japanese law. It is not a security. So we'll see how this all develops in the long run. But let's take a look at Bitcoin just to get an overall sense of where we're at with that. So we're on the daily time frame here right now, and we did break the low of yesterday. So daily consolidation was underway, but it could just be a daily bull flag at this point. So we'll take a look at the 4-hour trend. We need to change the 4-hour trend back to the bulls to be confident that that hourly or that daily higher low is set. So you can see here, we had support at 25,772, and we did hold that support here today. So we bounced off EMA 26, haven't lost EMA 26 on the 4-hour since all the way back here at 22,600. So we did dip below it here very briefly, and bulls bought the dip. So it continues to be a nice visual guide here and providing lots of dip buying opportunity. So that's where we stand on Bitcoin. So we'll see if we can see some follow through here on the daily time frame, also holding daily EMA 12 support. So that will be the most important visual guide on the daily time frame. And like I said, we're watching for a potential daily bull flag. And that's pretty much where we stand. We have a weekly inside bar forming as well. So all about those daily bull flags. So we'll take a look at SPY here as well. So we'll take a look at the overall broader market here really quickly. So SPY on the daily time frame, we lost the low of yesterday, not by much, only by about 20 cents or so. And again, could still be a daily bull flag as well. We do have EMA 12 support down at 369.01. So if we do continue with daily consolidation into the end of the week, we'll be eyeing that as a potential bounce point. And on the hourly, you can see here, we have yet to change the hourly trend. So we need to change that hourly trend back to the bulls. And once that's done, we can be confident that the daily higher low is set. So that's where we stand, but ultimately down about 0.2% on the day. QQQ essentially flat. Taking a look at the dollar, so the dollar is still under 90, but still weak. We had the daily bear flag that confirmed, and we bounced off. I think we had support at 89.60. See here on the weekly. 88.94. So let me see here. I had it on the daily. So 89.73. There it is. 89.73 was support. And we hit a low of 89.85 and started to bounce there today. And you can see we had a solid bounce to begin the day. We hit 89.85, got over 90 there fairly quickly. And we essentially tried to change the 5-minute trend. We didn't. We failed to do so. And we were just scouting a 5-minute higher low. And we broke to a higher high. But again, we're just chopping around sideways and very a big lack of clarity right now on the dollar, but essentially still remains weak. And on the daily time frame, EMA 12 is going to be a nice visual resistance guide going forward. So if we can get above, and it could be, and also a potential here for an inverse head and shoulders, not the most clear, but we need to get over EMA 12 to even consider a possibility of a daily bounce here taking place, and seeing significant follow through. But we could be setting up here for a potential daily higher low. So bulls are hoping to establish this new higher low here at 89.85. If we can break above 91.01, that would confirm a daily uptrend and obviously a point in favor of the bulls. So that's where we stand on DXY. Just taking a look, TAN, so the solar sector was down over 3%, so still consolidating on the daily. We did essentially get to EMA 12, which was down at 96.71. The low of the day was 97.64. So we came very close. So we'll see if we can change the hourly trend going into tomorrow and set those daily higher lows. You can see here we have the low. We didn't really get a solid bounce underway at this point. So no real resistance here up until 107 on the hourly. We do have EMA 12 and 26 there to battle with, but just looking for daily higher lows at this point, still in a daily uptrend. So no major red flags, just healthy consolidation. We do have increasing bear volume here as well. So we'll continue to monitor the solar sector consolidation. VIX was up over 7%. We had US oil up over 0.5% today, but pretty flat across the board. Not a whole lot going on today, again, with volume dropping off and everybody checked out for the holidays. It's not surprising. Taking a look at some individual stocks and tickers. So DDD, 3D Systems was down almost 10% today. CWeb down almost 10%. Dash was down almost 5%. On the bull list, we had BABA, Nexi up almost 10%. BABA up almost 7%. Intel 5%. NEO almost up for 5% on the day. So congrats to the bulls there. And Apple saw some significant profit taking after setting a new, I believe it was a new all-time high. Yep, 138.79, which was the previous all-time high at 137.98. So we broke to a new all-time high. And then we saw a significant pullback. So we pulled back about 3%, not a huge pullback, but definitely not what bulls want to be seeing, breaking to a new high and straight into a high into the low of the day, not what bulls want to see, and into a 5-minute downtrend here into the end of the day. Hourly downtrend, taking a look at the daily time frame again. So we didn't break the low of the previous day daily candle. So we will look tomorrow. If we break the low of today tomorrow, then daily consolidation will be underway in Apple. Tesla held up relatively well today. We did break the low of yesterday, so daily consolidation appears to be underway. We have EMA 12 down at 645.99. Again, need to change those hourly trends back to the bulls. Let's see here, we had a low of 655. And no real hourly trend change. I wouldn't consider that an hourly trend change at this point. So need to change those hourly trends tomorrow to be confident. Haven't really established enough of a clear pivot point here yet. So we'll monitor Tesla, but it's still extremely strong. No major red flags. Still holding EMA 12, which it's been holding from all the way back down here around 396 level. We did dip below it there just barely when we touched down to 566, but ultimately haven't closed more than 1 day below it. So if we close a couple of days worth of trading below that, that'll be a significant momentum shift to the bears. But other than that, that's pretty much where we stand in terms of individual tickers. Again, there wasn't a whole lot on the report today. We had daily consolidation still taking place in Canadian MJ, so CGC down almost 2%, APHA over 0.5%, Aurora down over 3%, Hexo down over 5%. So daily consolidation still clearly underway in the Canadian MJ sector. And with SPY hitting all-time highs, obviously very, very weak. At this point, we could see EMA bear crosses. So Aurora, you can see EMA 12 looking to cross bears through EMA 26 on the daily. Same thing with APHA, CGC, Cron. Cron has already crossed. Hexo, not yet, but getting close. Taking a look at Tilray, same thing, not yet, but getting close. So obviously daily consolidation is still underway. We need to change those hourly trends. So it's going to be all about the hourly trend going forward. If we can change the hourly trend, that will establish the daily higher lows. But at this point, no major red flags. We're still just looking for weekly higher lows, which we knew was coming up eventually. So if you are a little down or you're wondering why the cannabis space, especially the Canadian space, is slacking and just a laggard all of a sudden, it's because from the move here on Canopy down at $13.83 all the way to $29, you can see here we jumped about 116%, and we didn't establish any weekly higher low support. So once we started the weekly consolidation, which was back here, once on December 14th, at the beginning of that week, once we lost the low of the previous weekly candle, then we knew to be scouting weekly higher lows and weekly consolidation. So from that signal, we've already dropped about 8%. We do have EMA 12 there as well, down at 23.91. So we'll see if we test that tomorrow. We could potentially bounce there, or we may need to test EMA 26. Either way, you need to be ready for a drop to the $20 region or 21, between $20 and $25, I think is probably where we're going to expect a temporary bottom. $20 is also a nice psychological level, a nice round psychological level. So we'll see if there's any support established in that area. But other than that, that's pretty much where we stand. Trueleave on the daily time frame, we had a daily inside bar that broke bullish, but upper wick and profit taking into the end of the day. And we didn't get to the all-time high, but we could still potentially test all-time highs this week. And we'll see how we do tomorrow, but bulls still holding EMA 12 on the daily. Nice visual guide here so far on Trueleave. And definitely stronger than Canadian MJ at the moment. But we had CWeb down, MSOS down almost 4% today, about 3.5%. On the bull list, we had TAUG, HITI, CXXI, BMMJ. So BAM up on the Canadian side over 3%. So CXXI up almost 9% today. Congrats to the bulls. Cura down over 3%. GTII down about 0.5%. So we are seeing some consolidation. Trueleave, one of the major MSOs, managed to stay green, but keep in mind that with Canadian MJ's weakness and some potential weakness in the US space, in the US cannabis sector, keep in mind that if SPIDES starts to consolidate on the weekly, and we see some significant consolidation, and we have a weekly inside bar. So if we do lose that and break bear, and we look to potentially test EMA 12 or 26, that's a potential drop of 3 to 7%. So if we drop 3 to 7%, how's that going to affect the Canadian and the US cannabis sector? Obviously, it's going to create more headwinds and more selling pressure. And don't be surprised if we do see some additional weakness. But essentially, we have the Senate runoff in a week. So on January 5th, and that's in Georgia. So we have a couple of Senate seats up for grabs. So if the Democrats were to sweep that and gain control of the Senate, obviously that's going to impact the sector very, very bullishly. And if that were to come to fruition, then basically bulls right now are just hoping for as big of a pullback as possible so that they can load up here on these weekly higher lows. So maybe you are a patient bull and you're looking to get in around $21 or the $20 level, maybe a flush of EMA 26, or maybe a flush of $20 on CGC. So if we just take a look at the fib retracement here from this move from the low, you can see that the 618 level would be right around here. So we're looking, so right under $20. So you best believe that there's a lot of bulls waiting to buy weekly consolidation, which we're going through right now. So a nice potential area to buy would be around 20 or a loss of $20. So if we were to potentially test $20 this week or next week or into next week, that would put us right down here to the $20 and EMA 26. And that would put us right in line with the Senate results as well. So if we consolidate and set a bottom around $20 and we find out that the Democrats won the Senate, that's obviously going to be very, very huge, and we'll have a lot of traders and investors also looking for weekly higher lows and long entries. So that could be a massive short squeeze if that were to play out that way. So that's what I'd be watching for personally. But that's pretty much all I have in terms of the US and Canadian cannabis space. Taking a look at XRP on the weekly as well. So we did lose the 10-week moving average at 40 cents. The stochastic and MACD are absolutely crushed. Taking a look at the moving averages on the weekly, we have the 50 weekly moving average at 26 cents. So that could be hit 25 today. So maybe that was a potential resistance point. We did get over 25 cents. So personally, I could see a lot more downside in the near term, especially with more exchanges potentially doing the same. Maybe Binance does the same as Coinbase. We'll have to keep an eye out and wait and see. But personally, I think anything between 10 and 15 cents is going to be a godsend and just an absolute gift. And again, this isn't financial advice. This isn't a buy or sell. That's what I'm doing. You can do whatever you want, but personally, I'm going to be building a small no-touch YOLO position that I'll be holding for about 3 to 5 years plus. Or until Ripple hits a new all-time high, then I might reevaluate. But essentially, I'm just going to be building my YOLO no-touch position and trading any dips and support tests or any trade setups that I do see in the near future. But again, today was just an absolute gift off of 17-cent support and the flush of the recent support of 21 cents. So once we flushed recent 21-cent support, we had support down at 17. Nice base of support here. You can see that we formed from back all the way in April, from March, from the lows down at about 11.5 cents. Nice base of support there at 17 cents. Touched that today, and massive, massive gains. So obviously, the news from the Ripple statement and the SEC, looking forward to working with the SEC and that upbeat statement. Basically, them not changing their stance, still thinking that they are not in the wrong. Obviously might have spooked some shorts and caused them to cover. Some shorts may have covered just based on pure profit and approaching 17-cent support. So there was also a lot of people bullish off 17-cent support that were going long. So there was a lot of factors that played into this bounce today, in my opinion, which is why we were up over 40%. But I don't think the news and that statement was enough in itself to make the crypto run over 40%. Again, it had to do with shorts covering, profiting a ton from the flush of 21 cents, and then covering, and then bulls going long at 17-cent support. And obviously the news definitely, timing of that news definitely helped the bounce. But as you can see, we're well above the weekly move, or well below the weekly moving averages and the daily moving averages. MACD absolutely crushed on the daily as well. So we're still very bleak right now on Ripple, but again, I am very skeptical and just nothing about this whole situation makes sense. And I'll be building a position as long as we keep dropping. And like I said, if we get to 10 cents, personally, I think that could be a potential bottom. Between 5 and 10 cents where I see it bottoming out sometime in the next 3 weeks. So with that, that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. We have a short week this week again, so expecting volume to probably drop off. We're closed on Friday in both the US and Canadian markets, and trading will resume on the 4th. So essentially 2 more trading days left of the week. So again, I'm not expecting a huge, huge move either way. Obviously, we're getting a little bit of a Santa Claus rally, but like I said, just a lot of people still checked out. I noticed it from videos online and just posting in the community that a lot of people seem to be checked out. I'll also be taking some time over the weekend as well this weekend to spend time with family and just get relaxed for the new year. So with that, thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth for another daily market recap, and we'll see you tomorrow after market close.